B-Bad and Brandon.
2, 1.
Cooking with Amish butter.
Amish butter.
Amish butter.
I've never had Amish butter. Tell me about Amish butter.
You know, roll butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Damn, made with butter.
Are we rocking now? Are
Oh
we
yeah,
on?
we're
on and live.
We started with a deep dive on Amish butter. We don't get a lot of exposure to Amish butter here in Australia.
Cool. Yep. Right, yeah, I would imagine not.
Do you get that at the supermarket?
Oh yeah. Roll butter, roll Amish butter, man. Oh, yummy. I can eat it by the stick.
Damn, and then just eat it. I love it.
Throw it down my neck like a man possessed.
Bro, mate, we're very, very unofficial and unorganised, but the only part of the organisation and the official part of this thing is we ask you one question, and then that one question, sir, is going to be 21 sounds and or words, who you are and what you do.
21.
Yep, it's a loose 21.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to keep you very accountable to that 21.
Oh, I could say a lot more than 21. I mean, is this a test? Am I counting on my fingers? 21?
Yeah, because of like the delay from obviously you're in the US, is it? Yeah, US to here. It's a very loose 21. So you just roll with whatever comes out. We're going to accept.
Right on.
All right, let's do it, brother.
I'm a retired special ops guy. I'm a retired special ops guy. 22 years in special operations. Retired in 05. Been working under my own banner as TMACS Inc. since then.
Cool.
Man, that was actually pretty close to 21. I'm pretty sure.
I think it was 20.5.
22 years in special ops. Wow.
Damn.
Yep.
What age were you when you started there?
18. I enlisted at the age of 18. When I started special forces training, I was 19 years old.
Wow, that's fucking. Can you correct me if I'm wrong, but that's pretty young to be into the special ops, special forces.
Yeah, very. There was a program that they were trying out when I enlisted. It was called the 18 X-ray program, or slang terms, Special Forces baby program. And I made it by the skin of my teeth, and then kind of fast-tracked from there all over the place in the special ops world. Had a bunch of cool jobs, and yeah, it reads like a book, but no, I'm not going to write one about it.
No. Not working on something in the background, bro?
Nah, I've always got projects going on. I mean, I've got a couple other little book projects, but not a not a memoir of like the career, but sort of more like a you know, not a biography, but just funny anecdotes that have happened to me before and while serving the military and after. Yeah. So people take life, you know, a little serious, and they don't. One of the things that people don't accept well or are not easy, they don't take it easy, is failure. And I was very fortunate in failing a whole bunch of times in my life. And you know, it's how you handle that failure and how you recover from it that eventually will make you a better, stronger, more functioning and more productive human being.
Absolutely, man. Like, I love that whole mindset and approach to failure. But when did you first start failing? When did you recognize failure as a stepping stone to something more?
Well, now that's a good question. See, that's two-part, because when I first failed, I didn't recognize it as a stepping stone. I just saw it as, holy shit, I've got to recover from this quickly so I could get on to the next thing. My first failure was kind of happenstance because it was an injury. So that was in jump school when I was 18 years old, and it put me in the hospital for a few months. But nonetheless, it's a failure. Because, you know, in the military and especially in special ops world, and it doesn't matter, I mean, where you are in special ops, what country, it's riddled with ambiguity, and there's a lot of luck involved, man, because there's a high risk of of failure and getting injured and stuff like that. So, yeah, the first time I was 18, but I did not recognize it as an opportunity to better myself. I just thought, man, I got to freaking get well so I could make this shit because, I wanted, I knew what I wanted. I had a goal in mind and, basically a target. And I just had to meet that. I had to.
What was the injury, bro?
Oh man! So I was what's called a toad jumper. Uh-oh. So when you're a cherry kid, paratrooper, you start jumping with static line, and I'm sure you know what that is. But you hook the static line up within the outboard cable in the plane.
Yep.
You jump out, and the static line deploys your chute. Yep. Well, that static line got wrapped around part of my equipment and my arm, and pulled me with the aircraft.
Fuck!
So it pulled my bicep down into my forearm, broke ribs, dislocated shoulder, concussion. Yeah, so it jacked me up pretty good.
Fuck!
That's a fucking...
And then you got to land. Fuck.
Right, and then you have to land on top of it, yeah.
Dude, that is a fucking full-on injury at, 18 you said?
Yeah, so, most of us, when we're kids, we don't get, injuries to us are you break a leg or you scrape a knee, you get stitches because you're fighting with your brother, and you break a nose, that kind of thing. But, so this was my first real, legit injury.
Yeah.
Where... it landed me in the hospital. I had to get surgery, and I had to stay there for a while.
Fuck.
Because you said your bicep was in your forearm, which
that's not where it goes.
Yeah. So it kind of think of like a toothpaste tube,
Yeah.
where you squeeze the toothpaste down. So that's what it did to my arm. It just squeezed the bicep right down into my forearm.
It's so interesting because, obviously, in our industry, we see a lot of bicep tears.
Go the other way.
Yeah, it goes the other way. It retracts up to the shoulder. I don't think I've seen one down to the forearm. That is intense. Man. And
yeah. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of pain involved in that too, because it's got to go past the joint,
Yep.
And it mangled that. It totally mangled that bicep. I mean, very little of it was retrievable, and the doctors were able to only recover a small piece of it. By the time I got out of surgery and started recouping, my bicep was about that big around, about as big as a pencil. But that was a good example of muscle memory. People. Man, it remembered and it figured shit out, and it had to. I had to sink or swim because, when you go through special ops training, there's a lot of upper body pulling and pushing that you have to do, and you need that thing.
Yeah, 100%. When that injury happened for you, was it a no-brainer? Your attitude was like, fuck yeah, we just overcome this thing, and how do I continue on? How do I get to the next thing? Or did you end up with a bit of a dark place, sort of wondering what's next?
Yeah, no, it was more dark place because once again, first injury, and you're in a hospital, and it's a military hospital, and all the beds are full with injured dudes, and nobody's coming and visiting you and giving you a pep talk because I didn't know anybody down there, where I was. So I just wanted to recover as quickly as possible and get back into the mix of things, because I just started out. I mean, I was only a few months into the military at that point. So
you just had a taste.
I really needed to get back on that horse, get well, so I could go to the next step of training. Yeah.
Well, your next jump after that, what was that experience like? Were you shitting yourself a bit, or were you like, let's go?
Yeah, it's a funny question. The entire committee there at this happened at Fort Benning, Georgia, where they run the school for all the cherry paratroopers.
Yep.
They knew that I was injured, and they knew what the injury was. They were well aware of it, so they were cool as hell, man. So they put me in the door. In other words, number one man. So I wasn't handing a static line off to anybody.
Yep.
It was like, hand it here. You stand in the door and get ready. I was like, oh man, you guys are cool as shit. But they were all the cadre was rooting me on, which was pretty cool.
Yep. That's pretty cool. So everyone around you wants you to succeed. If a young fella, must have been pretty confidence boosting.
Right.
What's it like jumping out of a plane
absolutely.
on a static line? What's that experience like?
You know, it's not as exciting as you would think. You know, you're basically a dope on a rope. So you jump out and you gain you gain or the you know the what's the word I'm looking for, the sensation of falling, right?
Yep.
But only for a few seconds.
Yep.
Because the static line is only so long. So you have the sensation of falling, but it only lasts for like 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then boom, your chute opens.
Yep.
Now on the flip side, you know, once I got into special ops, then I started doing military free fall. So that's a whole different ball of wax there.
Yep.
You know, when you free fall out of a plane, now you get the sensation of falling for about the same amount of time,
Yep.
but you're a lot higher. You only get the sensation of falling because once you hit terminal velocity,
Yep.
you don't have that sensation of falling anymore.
Yep.
You know, you're doing relative work through the air, and that's exciting. You know, that's more of a you know, a thrill than static line is. Static line is it's not as exciting as you would think.
Yep.
But it's necessary to start there, you know, if you're going to be a jumper. But
Yep.
the free fall stuff, that was cool and that was exciting. But
Yep.
the military has a way of sucking the freaking fun out of everything. So, you know, most of those jumps, they weren't like sky boogies, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like I was free falling with spandex on it
Yep.
and shit. It was like, you know, 80 pounds of lightweight shit,
Fuck.
dark, scary,
Yep.
cold.
Yep.
So, you know, any like diving, like subsurface,
Yep.
or free fall. Yeah, the military could just suck the freaking fun out of all that shit, man. It's so freaking funny.
How long did the special ops training last, brother?
Well, there's several different facets to it, right? So the Special Forces course is, for me, because once again, I failed a phase of it, lasted about 4 or 5 months, I think.
Yep.
But that's, you know, that's step one. That gets you in the door, right? So Green Beret.
Yep.
That gets you in the door for other schools down the road, because then you have to go to, you know, high altitude, low opening school.
Yep.
You have to go through like combat dive school, and then there's different selections along the way depending on what type of unit you want to be in. So there's always an opportunity to be something better and
That's cool.
bigger once you're in
That's
the
fucking
special ops community.
Yep.
And that goes same in Australia. I mean, it's the same, you know, in with many of our special ops units. You know, there's always opportunity for something bigger. And once you got your foot in the door, you want that, man. You don't
Yep.
want to just say, fuck it, man. I'm here now and I'm badass, and
Yep.
you know, I'm a SF guy, and yeah, you want to go for the next thing.
Jeez, that's an incredible, cool experience. You know, you said, you know, 19 years of age, and now your foot's in the door there of special ops, and the world is your oyster of choice. Are you starting to map out your career then? Are you thinking, do you kind of know where you wanted to go with that career then? Or was it kind of like, oh, this is the next thing, I'll jump into that and see where it'll take you?
No, I wanted schools initially.
Yep.
You know, I wanted the cool guy schools. So by the time I was 22 years old, I had 2 Special Forces MOSs or specialties, and I was both Halo and combat dive. So I was fast tracking, you know.
Yep.
And it was, I remember it was 1987. One of my biggest mentors that I ever had in the military was Australian SAS. He was an Australian SAS guy.
Cool.
And he was doing an exchange here with the U.S.
Yep.
And he pulled me aside one day and he said, "Hey, man," because when guys like that do an exchange,
Yep.
it's like 2 years at a whack.
Yep.
You know, so the Brits do it, the Australians do it, the Italians do it, and they always send their top dogs, you know,
Yep.
to do these exchanges.
Yep.
And they work with several different LE, you know, law enforcement agencies.
Yep.
And then they bounce around, you know, to all the special ops units and worked with them for, a few months.
Yep.
And this guy told me, he said, hey, I've worked with all these units, and there's some cowboys out there. There's some cowboys, and he said, we got them too. But these guys, and he gave me 2 different units. He said, they got their shit together, and at some point in your career, you need to go there.
Yeah, right.
I was like, fuck, man. So that's when, I was thinking about United States Army Special Ops Command, and the unit. That's the first time it ever came on my radar. But the cool thing was, right about then, as I was kind of in a dead end, not dead end, but I was picking low hanging fruit if I was just staying in like what I call vanilla special forces. I got recruited to do some Cold War jobs because this was still in the 80s.
Yep.
So some Cold War stuff working in Soviet East Germany.
Wow.
And I did that for a few years, and once the wall came down, and it was really freaking neat, man. I mean, it was.
Jeez, what an adventure that would have been.
Cool cloak and dagger shit.
Yep.
And but once the wall came down, and everybody reunified and became friends.
Yep.
That's where I realized, all right, I have to level up again. So that's when I went to selection for the unit, and I failed that. I had to go again.
Fuck, bro. Like, you're just. Like,
but I finished out my career 13 years at the unit at Fort Bragg.
Man, that's insane. Like, you just level up the whole fucking stage of your career by the sounds of it. Like, each time you just get met with something, then you're like, I'm too comfortable. Let's go jump into the next thing.
Yeah, and how a lot of it was. I use this term loosely, but it still applies. A lot of it was luck, but a lot of us make our own luck. You know what I mean?
100%.
So if you're ambitious and you've got great work ethic, people will freaking notice.
Yeah.
So to me, it felt like luck, to get recruited by this guy or that guy, or get sought out by somebody else. But then again, they're recruiting you for a reason, because you've created this luck. So, there was, for a long time, I thought, man, I am the luckiest motherfucker, I swear to God, because I'm getting, I just had the coolest career and was able to do all this neat stuff. And that very few people were able to witness or to participate in. So, I was very fortunate, man. And I still think I was lucky, right place, right time. But I also kept my nose clean, and I worked my ass off. So
absolutely, man. Like, that ethic is just translates into everything. Like, yes, we can be put in the right situations, but like, we also put ourselves in that fucking right situation. And by the sounds of it, you just constantly worked and worked. I have a question, like, your career. Now, if we can talk about it, and if you don't want to, I completely understand. But were you still in the army in 2001 when the terror attacks hit?
Yeah, absolutely. So at that time, I was a what's called the OTC instructor. So for the unit, I was training new commandos.
Right.
And so OTC operator trainers course. And I went down. I was training, new, not young. I almost said young, because operators aren't necessarily young. But I was training them in a close quarter battle, and one of the guys, some gear broke. So I said, Dad, don't worry about it. I'll run down and exchange it for you. And as I go to the main building, the guy at the supply desk was watching the TV, and he had it on. I said, what's happened? He goes, man, a plane just hit one of the towers. And at that point, most people just thought, wow, what a tragic accident. It was just like that. Everybody thought the same thing. It was damn, man, holy crap. So we just kept watching it, and then I saw it live. I saw that second plane hit. And when you see that shit live, not on the news later, but, I watched it happen live, and I was like, and he didn't even look at me. His jaw was dropped, and he was just staring at the TV. And I said, I already had the piece of gear in my hand, and I said, I got to go. So I boogied down range and kind of made an administrative halt, to training, and just kind of filled them in what I knew. But we were all called in from training that day and given a briefing. So,
Man, that's intense because I'm like, obviously, I was quite young at the time, but what was the sense, in the days after once everyone like it had come out that it was a terror attack? What was the feel within the military?
Well, there was I think a renewed sense of urgency because, the '90s were still sort of considered like peacetime army. Even though I was occupied, we were doing stuff. And there were a lot of terror attacks, right? It was smaller scale stuff like the USS Cole and stuff like that. The World Trade Center was bombed, like a decade earlier. There was still a lot of turmoil on the planet, but because of certain administrations and stuff, we weren't really employed the way we maybe should have been.
Yeah.
So there was a renewed sense of urgency because we knew we were going to get some. I mean, it wasn't question. It was like, well, just waiting for the call now. Let's make sure that our shit's together. And, but it always was. But definitely a renewed sense of urgency. And I don't think, our focus was always, crystal clear. It was always in Technicolor. But I think focus became just a little bit more high resolution at that point,
Absolutely. That was a very intense time. Fucking oath.
Mate, insane.
Yep.
Mate, what was it like having the opportunity, because you said at that time you're an instructor, that was right? I was going to say, what was it like being an instructor after you've done so much active stuff? Was it that your opportunity to give back and teach the new generation coming through?
Yeah. So at the unit, it was a privilege and an honor because you had to reach a certain point in your career to be an OTC instructor.
Yeah.
It's not just like a stepping stone or a milestone or you're not checking the block. You had to earn that slot. They were only picking the right guys to be in that slot. So, I loved it. And I found my niche there, I was like, man, I am, this is what I was born to do because I love doing it. And I love, passing on knowledge and, transferring a thought or a skill to somebody else who in turn will use it at some point in time. So I dug it. It was kind of a good, I'll say, break, even though you're working your ass off because the hours got longer, but it was still a break because you weren't on the bubble to have to deploy or split the scene at a second's notice. You knew your schedule for let's say the next 6 months. You knew what your schedule was. So in that way, it was almost a break.
Did you miss doing the active work and deployment when you went into that role as an instructor, or was it something you were really looking forward to doing?
No. It like I said, it was a good break, and I enjoyed that, man. I really did. I enjoyed that time.
Was that your last role within the Army before you got out?
No. I had a couple other jobs. I pushed to Iraq twice, with the unit, and I got hooked up with my own little kind of like kingdom there, where I was the marksmanship NCO for the unit, and I built a shooting club, not only for the military, but that civilians could come to encourage marksmanship within the ranks of the Army. And we used it as a kind of a recruiting tool also. Nice. But I was going to a lot of like national competitions and stuff like that. And so I ended up really freaking lucking out with it. It was kind of a cush job, even though I was working 7 days a week. But I was almost writing my own schedule, and I didn't answer to anybody.
That's unreal.
You know, so, but the task was daunting because there was a lot of work.
Yep.
And so much that on the weekends I would bring my kiddies into work with me,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
and say, hey, I got to do this shit. So come on. And they were like, this is the best thing ever, man. We're going to run around this compound and goof around in the gym and, you know, and yeah, so they dug it. But it was nice not having to answer to anybody and not having anybody to give orders to.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Because essentially most of your military career would have been spent with someone telling you what to do and you having to tell other people what to do.
That's right. That's right.
Fuck, man, that's an unreal career, and like just building that, as you said, you know, your words, kingdom. Like,
and did you say you had your family with you there?
Yeah. And I had so, I mean, by the time I retired, my kiddies were little.
Yeah.
You know, they were like 2 and 3 or 2 and 3 and 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Something like that. Yep. They were little.
What a cool experience for them to be running around with all that going on.
Yeah, they didn't. It's all blurred to them, you know.
Yeah.
Just like me and what I've done, it's all blurred. They don't. You know, I'm just dad to them.
Yeah.
Which is good. Good. It's good by me. You know, they don't know me as. They don't know. They know very little about what I've done in the past, and you know, they'd be. It's not like I'm holding information from them, but you know, if they're interested, they can ask. But I'm not going to say, hey, kids, this is what I did when I was your age. Blah, 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 blah. Because I'm not one of those rest on your laurels motherfuckers, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I did a bunch of cool shit yesterday, but I like to think of myself as a badass tomorrow.
That's dope.
I like that.
Transitioning with that sort of like mentality there, was transitioning out of the army difficult for yourself?
Yeah, it was. Now, initially I thought it was easy. You know, I thought, well, this is easy. And I was picking low-hanging fruit. I went and worked for the man. I got recruited to do a job before I even retired. And it sounded great, you know. It was on the training side of things, training military units and law enforcement units. But, you know, in between that, I was sitting in a cubicle and working on the computer, and then I got to, you know, missing the camaraderie and you know, the excitement of doing what I was doing. Lost connection with a lot of people, and you know, now you're working in a civilian world where rank is immaterial, and when your ideas get shot down. And you know it's a good idea. You know it is. You know, so there's the vetting process, it becomes different. You know, and even with ideas, the vetting process becomes different, and you're squelched a lot easier, and you become frustrated because you have no peers to to run that litmus test for you, and to run ideas by and to whiteboard with. You know, you're saying. You're saying yes, and you're shaking your head inside, no, this is fucked up. But you're going, all right, well, I guess I'll do it your way.
Fuck.
You know, because you're getting a paycheck. But and the other thing that was a big wake-up call for me is a few years into it, I got laid off. And when you're in the military, you don't think job security. It's not on. It's not on your radar ever. Job security. You're thinking, if I work my friggin' ass off and don't get in trouble, I'm good forever. You know, and I'm so you're not thinking job security. And then when I got laid off from this corporation, I'm like, what in the hell does that even mean? I don't even know what do I do now? What the fuck? It's not like I'm going to live off my military pension. So that was a big wake-up call for me, because I had no backstop. I had no backup plan. You know, because I was comfortable. I was comfortable. I picked that low-hanging fruit, and I was comfortable with it. I was accepting mediocrity is what I was doing.
And was it through that process that you kind of like, you've awakened to this whole because that's another big failure that we spoke about, before failure being a launching and stepping stone. Was that the moment there where you really started to, I guess, become uncomfortable again?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of discomfort was massive because I had a family I had to support, right? So now I have no income coming in. So what do you do? What do you do? And so you go through a myriad of emotions, right? And initially it's shock. It's shock and you don't know how to react to it. And then you get angry, and then you ponder, and then you get focus. And I remember those couple weeks, before I had to clean out my desk, my amount of focus was tenfold, man. I was just, I had the gears in motion, man, building my own corporation.
Yep.
I was using their company time to build my next empire. And I did that in a couple weeks.
Yep.
And I even used some of the people in that corporation because they knew it was a bad deal.
Yep.
Because a bunch of us got laid off and it was a money thing.
Yep.
So I reached out to people that I only knew on email, but that they were good to me on email and they worked at, the top levels of this corporation. And man, did they freaking hook me up. You need to do this, just run down. And I worked my ass off in those couple weeks.
Yep.
And I got my first, so that was, that was in July of 2010.
Yep.
And by August, I had my first contract. And I had work for the rest of the year. Contract after contract with the military, with federal law enforcement. So I started the ball rolling there. And then, it's funny because you get comfortable. It's like, oh man, government contract shit.
Yeah.
They're asking me to come train them. I'm good.
Yep.
But then what happened to us here in 2013 is we hit this thing called sequestration. So the government was cutting funding to save money, but they cut it from the government and they cut training and travel, the two most important things that the government can do. Military and federal law enforcement.
Yep.
And they cut that. And I'm looking at my calendar. It was January of 13. It's filled for 8 months. It's filled with nothing but government work.
Yep.
And in January of 2013, that happened. The light switch went off.
Fuck.
Everybody wrote me, said we can't do it. So now I'm out of work again for 8 months.
Wow.
I'm going, holy shit.
Time to get uncomfortable again, bro.
So it was another lesson, to be learned.
Yep.
Yep. And it was like that until, it was probably like that until, I think 2018, I hit a plateau, and started a steady up climb.
Yep.
And then 2020, Coronacation saved my freaking ass. I was able to rewrite and kind of re-script everything that I'm doing.
Yep.
And now I'm good. Now I can go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But even still, even when you do that, you have to realize, all right, well, I have these 4 big things going on. So basically 4 different jobs or businesses, and some of them I'm doing remotely. I'm not traveling anymore. I'm not going anywhere.
Yep.
I'm doing everything right here. But even with that, when you get comfortable, you have to remind yourself, time to get uncomfortable again.
Yeah.
Time to jam something else in the pipeline. What is the next thing? So just like in the military schools, how can I now level up? Where is the next level? Where do I go from here?
Yep.
So you've got your head to the ground, and you're looking for opportunity. And for me right now, a lot of opportunity knocks because of like social media footprint and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I could also pick and choose. I could go, no. But I'm not going to nuke that bridge.
Yep.
Because you never know if you need a backstop.
Yeah.
But I could pick and choose now. I could select. I could go yes to this, no to that, no to that, yes to this, no to that, no to that. So I still like the feeling of being just a little bit uncomfortable and thinking, contingency planning. What if these things dry up? Which makes for a good, like exciting life, and you become very kind of keen and situationally aware, and you gain this introspection too about yourself. You have to think, all right, well, I've only got so much energy and so much time. I really don't want to work my ass off. I'm 56 years old, but I need to stay busy. I need to stay busy. I need to keep building and creating streams of revenue. And how can I work smarter and not harder? And be comfortable and provide for my family without working my freaking dick into the earth. So, and there are avenues like that, and there's a lot of opportunity. It's that most people are, they're content with their whatever it is, their job, their lifestyle, their businesses, and they kind of accept mediocrity, or they just say, you know what, I'm good right now. And there's danger in that. That shit could dry up, man. And if you don't have a backstop, man, I've learned it so many times. I've learned it and relearned it over and over and over. Have that backstop. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, man. Think of life as like a cornucopia horn, and you want it to be replenished. So, keep jamming shit in there.
I think that's a great lesson for everyone there, bro. I think too many of us will just sit back and be happy. I got
tons of them, man, because when it comes to making mistakes, I've made a lot of them in business, and some of that even is with whom you align. With whom you align is very important, because when you're hungry and nearly desperate, that alignment can be haphazard and almost reckless without you even being complicit to its recklessness. You don't know that it's reckless because, damn, this is a great opportunity right now. Yes, I'll work with you on this thing. And then that guy turns sour, or he's got skeletons in the closet, or he's tainted, and now you are guilty by association. So I've learned all those things, man. So I'm very careful with whom I align and with whom I talk and everything.
Man, I think that's fucking an incredible lesson. And like, I just been looking at your microphone there, and you have a podcast, if I'm assuming, and it's called Badassery.
Yeah, the University of Badassery. It's a lot of fun.
That's fucking dope.
I do it with CJ Ortiz. And we've been, for the past few of them, we've been highlighting either badass people or badass events in history. And I think we're going to continue on that road, because we started with, and this is a great book for you guys on American history, is the Lewis and Clark expedition, the Corps of Discovery. The book is called Undaunted Courage, and the first one we did on, because we changed our format. We used to have guests on who were badass, and then we said, let's do it on this shit. So Undaunted Courage was our first one, because it's freaking amazing. The shit that they did in 1804 is mind-blowing. It's absolutely fucking mind-blowing. The next one we did was Shackleton and the Endurance. So you probably recall that one, but what in the hell, man? I mean, talk about the personification of badasses, because this is 1914, and the shit that they did and went through, unfucking believable. But so I think we're going to continue on that path, because it's a lot of fun, and it makes me study too. I want to know about these dudes, and I want to, because we'll do an hour and a half podcast on, let's say, a book that'll take somebody 10 hours to read, and we're covering probably more than those guys are in an hour and a half. And it's and we make it fun, and we're ridiculous. There's times when we sound like we're 5 minutes out of high school when we're talking about these things, but
that's fucking
we make it fun.
Bro. Absolutely.
I know for us, just that opportunity, the podcast for us is all about just being able to meet cool people like yourself, bro. It's such a cool platform to be able to just sit down and chat with your mate next to you, and for yourself, and just where that little adventure takes you. Did you think your podcast would be where it is now with what you're doing?
No, and who knows where it's going to go. I don't look at it where it is now. I look at the potential of where it can be, and because I think that something like this, a platform, and plus CJ and our synergy, our relationship, it's a little, we have a lot in common, but there's yin and yang in there too. So it makes for a very interesting dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with it, man. And I don't know if you've listened to one, but I think if you're going to listen to one of the University of Badasseries, I would do that. I would check out the Shackleton one, man, the endurance, because I never listened to one of my own podcasts, but I remember being full of piss and vinegar on that one, man. And I was very, inspired.
Yep.
And fired up, and man, when you reach that level of inspiration, yeah, you have no choice but be full of freaking piss and vinegar.
Man, that's fucking unreal. Like, I'm drawn to it just because of the fucking name, the University of Badassery. How dope is that?
That's unreal. How do you enjoy the social media world of stuff? Because if I would say your Instagram account is one of my personal favorites. I enjoy to frequent on a daily basis. How do you enjoy that part of the part of the business world for yourself, bro? Because it looks like you just have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, well, see, that was discovery learning, right?
Yep.
So when I met my wife, the gal I'm married to now, who is one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life, I met her at kind of a low point in my life, 2013.
Yep.
She's younger than I am. And she said, hey, you need to get on these platforms. I had a cheesy YouTube channel, and I would do shooting stuff on there. But she says, you need to get on here. And I toyed with it, and, just posting random stuff, a little bit of gun stuff, a little bit of this and that, what guys do.
Yep.
But you look at what people like and how the numbers go up, and it's like, oh, dude. So what they like the workout shit, and they like the gun stuff.
Yep.
So I stuck with that for a while, and then I came up with this another thing where I was doing these PSAs, these Sunday Sentinel sermons, because I wrote a book called Sentinel.
Yep.
So I would do these PSAs and just little 30-second tidbits of about situation awareness and about self-improvement.
Yep.
And people freaked the fuck out. They were like, this is the best thing ever, man. Goddamn, keep this going forever. Don't ever stop. And then I had another epiphany, and that was basic dude stuff.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Man, that thing, that thing freaking detonated. I mean, to the point where I had to get a trademark for it.
Oh, really? You've trademarked it?
Because it blew up so fast. Yeah. I got a trade. Yeah. So I have all the merch and everything, the shirts and the coasters and the and the cutting boards.
Yep.
But so I've grown to really like it because when given an opportunity, right?
Yep.
So the interwebs is a bad and scary place, especially for kids, right? There's a lot of nutbags on there. There's a lot of negativity. It's easy to get sucked into that.
Yep.
It's very easy to be drawn in. I think it's easier to be drawn in to that negativity than to be consumed with positivity. So I made a vow years ago, I'm only going to post positive shit.
Cool.
And in the past couple years, especially with politics here, and the way our media was working, I realized that, dude, there's enough crap on social media.
Yep.
I need to put out good, strong, positive messaging.
Yep.
And then with the workouts, it became improvise. You don't need a lot of shit, man.
Yeah.
You just need to get after it.
100%.
And I use the workout stuff as a conduit for one of my businesses called Combat Strength Training.
Yep.
But once I hit basic dude stuff and I started posting, I realized early on that a big demographic, my audience, was little kids.
Yep.
So now you have an obligation.
Yeah.
You got to keep that shit clean. It's got to be fun.
Yep.
A little bit funny.
Yep.
And moms love it, especially if they're unwed mothers.
Yep.
I get messages from dude. I get snippets, little film snippets of kids doing basic dude stuff from all over the planet. All over the
That's
planet.
unreal.
I mean, they'll send me like a private YouTube account link, or they'll send me an IG message with. But it's funny because it's all over the planet, man. That shit went worldwide. So when you see little kids doing, helping around the house, this basic dude stuff, and they're doing it in, a British accent, or they're saying it, actually saying it in German, or they're
That's amazing.
somewhere in Scandinavia. It's pretty uplifting to know that 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 your platform can have a positive impact.
Yeah.
And the bigger the platform, the more responsibility.
Absolutely.
So I'm very, very careful with that. I'm very guarded.
Yep.
Guys will send me and shit all the time. And I go, yes, bro, I know giving your wife an orgasm is basic dude stuff, or at least should be. But I'm not going to post it up there, man, because I got little kids following me.
Yeah.
Guys are like, dude, you have to do, piss and a shit stain off the toilet bowl is basic dude stuff. No, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, so you even get sent suggestions of what to put up.
And even for like Generation Zers and stuff like that. So they're not little kids, but they might not have had a dad or something. And they're going, dude, this is cool. I need to learn a knot and how to cook an egg and, how to treat my girlfriend better and maybe appreciate Mother Nature. So it's been fun. Now it's become work, but it's a labor of love too. I love doing it.
Yeah, that's unreal. And then just getting those messages, like you said, from the kids or even anyone reaching out and just sending you some good vibes must be a cool experience to just keep driving you forward, give you more reason and purpose to continue with it, eh?
Yep.
Fucking man, that's unreal.
Well, and you keyed on that word, right? Purpose. So we need purpose, right, or fulfillment, and that's one avenue that does give me purpose. I have to be careful and not to be, because there's always douchebags, there's always freaking trollers, there's always bots who want to bring you down, and you realize, that they're negative dumbass comments, that they're just an unhappy fucking human being, and there's nothing I'm going to do that could change their mind.
Absolutely.
So you don't get drawn into the trolls, mate, and try and combat back with them, mate. You just delete them off or let them roll.
No, if they're real douchey,
if
they're real douchey, I just block them. I block their account because I don't want that poisoning.
Yeah, good.
The thread. Because other people are reading the thread, so I'm going to try to block that and then block their account. Just block them. Get out of here. I don't need your shit. But no, I try to stay free and clear from like capitulating to their nonsense and just saying, whatever. If it's real douchey and they're mean, I usually answer back with thanks! Exclamation point.
I love that.
Oh, bro. And then the other bit you touched on is just those workout videos you put up as well. Just, you do have a good message, and simplicity is enough. You don't need much stuff. You can do anything, anywhere, anytime, and you get after it, bro. You're not just messing around when you're having a train there. You go hard. It's unreal.
I like to say that my good health is a result of or a byproduct of my bad health. In other words, I have ailments like most people, but the thing is, that's a cure-all. It's a cure-all for anything, for any kind of mental illness, any kind of physical illness or ailment that you have. It's an absolute freaking cure-all. Is eating. I like to eat well, and I like to exercise well because I like to fuck around too. I like to go out and have pints and smoke a cigar, which I'm going to do as soon as I get off with you guys because it's almost 6 p.m. here, so I could go out immediately after this and go to the pub, which you guys can't because
it's 8:30 in the morning.
Damn,
it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's right. Yeah, but so the workouts too. The big message there is, mix it up. Don't be victim to routine. Routine is the playground of a dull mind. You have to mix it up, keep it interesting, because now it's going to call you back. If you get into routine, it's just a routine, and you're not going to recognize voids and shit like that. You're just going to be stuck in a rut. And and like I said, too, it's also a conduit for my combat strength training program. So, yeah, man. And people ask me often, too, one of the most frequently asked comments or frequently asked questions in the comments with the workout videos is, bro, where do you get your motivation? And my answer to them is you. If I am motivating you, then that's why I'm here. Because there's so many days where I don't want to do shit. But I know that guy out there somewhere in some part of the world is going, dude, I hope freaking Pat Mac posts a workout video. Or he's not even thinking that. He's just scrolling. He's sitting on his ass, and he goes, holy shit. And he had no intention of freaking getting after it today. But now he's going, dude, I'm going to get after it today. I was all set to open this big bag of Fritos or whatever it is and sit on my ass, but I'm going to get after it at least for freaking 20 minutes.
That's a fucking unreal mission and just purpose there. Like, in inspiration, like, as you said, the days you don't feel it, you know someone's always watching. That's why I always tell my guys, like, you may not know who the fuck you're affecting. You know, we have a very privileged now with the social media that, as you said, we can go worldwide with just one simple thing. And if someone else sees you getting after it and that inspires them, that's a fucking job well done.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's unreal. And, you know, you're such a positive message. You know, you're careful and constructed about what you're putting out there and, you know, always thinking about the others, man. And the most important thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like you're having a fuckload of fun doing it, bro.
Yeah, I especially with the basic dude stuff, it's becoming more and more fun. Where when I first started it, it was almost like I was disappointed that people don't know, you know, how to gap a spark plug or how to sharpen a lawnmower blade or whatever it is, you know. But then I realized, oh man, I could really fuck around because there's way more than basic dude stuff. Plus, it's basic dude stuff knows no gender, it knows no age. And people say, hey, this is beyond basic dude stuff. You know, this is way too complicated. Yeah, but hey, at some point, try to learn this shit. Why not? I know we don't all know how to read a topographical map. I get that. But damn, man, you know, be interested. It'll make you interesting. You know, figure some shit out. Because the more you know, too, the less you have to rely on others. So I don't know everything, but and I told, and that's how basic dude stuff got born. Was I was talking to my wife, and this is late 2019. I was sitting on the couch drinking bourbon. Ranger panties on, just, you know, half in the bag, and she's talking about hiring somebody to install appliances, and I was like, man, Rebecca, I could do all that shit. Come on, bro, I'm a dude. I said, I can't build a house, but I could fix a house. You know, I can't build a car, but I could fix a car. I could hunt it, kill it, eat it. I could freaking do this, that. I could make a fire. I could, you know, and I kept playing with the words. And then when it came out, when I said I could do all the basic dude stuff, I went, holy shit, bro.
What was your first basic dude stuff?
The first one. The very first one, I have a classic muscle car, Pontiac, the 1965 Pontiac GTO. And I think my first one, I'm pointing under the hood, and I'm going, carburetor, headers, valve cover, distributor, you know, just pointing to pieces of the engine, you know, because most people don't know what's under the hood today. And I said basic dude stuff. And then I tied a bunch of knots. I tied, you know, like a bowl and a square knot, just some real simple ones. And I think that was it. It was real basic, that first basic dude stuff. But I saw the response, and I went, holy shit, man. And that's before I even had a name, you know, Basic Dude Stuff Wednesday. But I instantly wrote it up, you know, all right, I got to get this name, Basic Dude Stuff Wednesday, hashtag Basic Dude Stuff, and then started numbering. Bro, I put out today, episode 94.
So fucking cool.
And anymore, they're almost a full minute long, and I'll have like 6 clips in there. 6, you know. So it's a jam-packed minute. And right now on my whiteboard, I have 2 already 2 ideas for next week.
Sick.
And sometimes they're corny, but I, you know, you look at human behavior, especially today. You know, people are so connected that they're disconnected. They can't see the forest through the trees. They're myopic. You know, they're walking around in like zombies. So I learned a lot of basic dude stuff from just looking at people. Like, bro, you're walking on the wrong side. You know, when you should be walking street side when you're walking with your wife. Basic dude stuff. You know, dude, you shouldn't be freaking looking at your phone while you're walking up the street. Basic dude stuff. Hey, you just walked over a piece of trash. Pick that shit up. help that freaking old lady with her groceries, you know, or whatever it is. Because people just don't know. They don't even, they're just switched off to the world around them. So
100%.
yeah, now people are looking for it. How can I do basic dude stuff? Let's see, where's the opportunity? It's around here somewhere.
They're on the fucking hunt for it. I fucking love it, bro.
I fucking love it. Yeah, bro.
Bro, mate, what we like to do towards the end of this little adventure that we have is we ask you some random questions. There's 10 random questions, in fact.
Cool.
It's the first thing.
Mad minute.
Yeah, it's the mad minute. It's the first thing that pops in your head. Some are deep, some are a bit silly. Are you ready for these random 10 questions?
Yeah.
All right. What are you going to rename the apple to?
The pear.
Excellent. Does chocolate belong in the fridge?
No.
Oh. What do you wish you spent more time doing?
Reading.
What can you do today that you couldn't do 5 years ago?
Organize. Organize better. Manage my time.
Nice.
Organize. Manage my time.
What activity do you do right now that you lose track of time?
Playing music.
Nice. You find a dead
An
body.
instrument.
You find a dead body in a hotel room. What are you going to do with it?
I'm doing not a fucking thing with it, bro. I'm shutting the door and calling somebody.
What's your most hated mode of transport?
Subway.
Now, this is an interesting one. What color is a mirror?
Silver.
Yes. What superpower do you wish you do not have?
Do not have?
Yep. What superpower?
Reading somebody else's mind, bro. I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Now, this is some real insight into Pat Mac there. Do you scrunch or fold the toilet paper?
Fold, dude. 6 squares, bro.
Yep.
6 squares.
2.
Yep.
2 by 2 by 2.
Yeah, bro.
Thorough.
You got to be. I agree there.
You don't
man.
want nothing poking through that.
Fuck no.
No, scrunch, dude. You're a Neanderthal if you're scrunching.
Man, that's a fucking basic dude stuff right there. Just letting you know.
It should be, but the thing is, I have to be careful because some of them are so. People have like they're opinionated. Like, what side? How do you put the toilet paper on the toilet roll? No, I don't want to. No, I don't want to go there. There's only one way, but somebody's gonna say I'm wrong.
Okay, man. That's so true.
I like to say, if you can't see the end of it, it's on backwards, bro. Simple as that. I put my toilet paper on the roll the same way every fucking hotel in the world puts it on.
Amen.
Fucking amen to that, brother. Mate, before we wrap up, let's do the social media thing. Where can people find you? Give yourself a shout out.
So most everything can be found off my IG. That's at TMACS Inc. TMACSINC. And then I have a YouTube channel, but it's also linked there. But my YouTube channel is Pat Mac. So all the basic dude stuff is clumped there. And it's a good, fun, ridiculous channel. It's got my vlogs there as well, which are, dude, those vlogs are fun, man. I can't believe they didn't get the mileage or the traction yet, but they're fun.
Man, we'll direct it all. We'll put it all in the show notes for people to find out. Thank you so much for giving up your afternoon over there. And we'll have to get you back on again, man. Like, you've got some stories that I know we can deep dive into. And please go enjoy the pub, enjoy the beer, and enjoy that cigar, brother.
Rock and roll. Thanks, guys.
No,
Appreciate
man,
it, man.
Thank you, brother. Have
Appreciate
a good
it,
one.
man. See you, bro.